Hello, Earthlings. Okay, this is the last video. Except for my coming out video, I am going to do a separate video of me talking about how I came out and stuff. Just because, it's Pride Month, so why not? But this video is going to be more about the pandemic and the end of my college and my spiritual work that I went through and how I came about write my book, which is on here on this channel and my other channel, which is for my book. Um, but so if you want to go watch those, you can. Hopefully soon people will start watching these. Like I said, no one's been really watching. I mean, I have a few views on them, but like I know that you can watch like a few seconds of something and it might show as a view. So like I don't know if people are actually watching all of it. The fact that they don't comment or react to it makes me feel like it's not an actual view. Um, but I want to put my story out there, talk about where I've come from, how far I've got, and hopefully give some hope to people who are out there going through some of the same shit that I used to go through. Um, and it helps them through, like, because, like, it does eventually get better, but you do have to put work for it. Like, not really work for it, but you have to, like, that be your intentions. Like, you've got to get away from the people who are not helping you heal. If they're still traumatizing you, still abusing you, you're never going to get to heal because you're just adding on to it. Um, and for me, I've stopped all that so that way I can heal from the past, but also not have to necessarily heal from the present because, except for I do need to heal from, and we all do. And this is another reason why I want to be president is that 4 to 8 years, maybe if I get you know, voted in again, uh, I want those years to be all of us being able to just chill and heal, clean the environment, grow plants, and like heal the earth and heal ourselves at the same time. That's gonna be like my presidential goal in life is to get everyone with a roof over their head, fresh, healthy food in their stomachs, and drinkable water for everyone. That's gonna be my goals, like for the people, which I think is what the government should be for. Um, but on this, so how I get to this point, because like I said, I think I've said this in another video. When I was a kid, I never thought, oh, I want to be president one day. I did not think that. It was a cop, a detective, which maybe after presidency, I'll become one of those, still be a detective. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But uh, I do want to still continue to help people. So I will be working on something that, but hopefully the presidency will like I'll be able to do all these little things, um, and figure out what I want to do afterwards. Whatever. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. This video is about my last year of college and how my last semester. Well, actually, in 2019, August, that fall, I had my first hardcore mental breakdown. So before college started, I went out and seen my uncle, which I've kind of talked about that. But what I did not talk about was I went and seen my uncle, and he brought up a lot of memories that I had forgotten and trauma that I had forgotten and shit like that. And it really like kind of started on my thought process of like, holy shit, my childhood wasn't really that great. Because like I said, I sugarcoated it for a while. And I was like, wow, there was really some messed up shit that I had to go through. And we did live with them for a while. I had totally forgotten about that. And he talked about my sister having night terrors, and night terrors are from trauma. Although there is, okay, so I'm gonna be talking about paranormal stuff on the other one, but I will talk about this. My sister used to see, she said she would see faces and hear voices. But my mom, like I said, this is, if your kid comes up and tells you this, just fucking believe them. Help them get through it. Help them figure out why they're seeing faces, why they're. And it was only at certain places that we lived. I feel like there was some places where it didn't bother her, and then after a while she did block it out. But because years later we talk about it. I was like, did you actually really? Not that I didn't believe you, because I did try to comfort her as much as I could, being 2 years older than her. Because my mom would just go, oh, you're just trying to stay up, go back to bed. She wouldn't try to comfort her at all. Um, but night terrors, that was another thing. Like, that's from trauma. Because I used to, I don't think I have, my dreams are weird now. I don't want to talk about that because that's a whole different thing. That'd be like a whole video on itself. But a lot of times I don't remember what I dreamed, but I have the feeling of what I felt in a dream. And so there are times where I'm like, I do think I've had night terrors, because there are times where I feel like I can't move at first, and I'm like, am I awake? Am I not awake? Like, why can I move? Have those moments. So she would have night terrors, and I would have to comfort her. But my uncle, talking to my uncle and my aunt, kind of brought all that up. And plus, I got their side of the story about what happened and shit like that, and why mom stopped talking to them and whatever. Because I told them, I was like, well, I don't really talk to mom anymore. I haven't. And they were not really shocked. Because, I mean, my uncle doesn't talk to her either, and still doesn't. I think that's one of the reasons why my sister doesn't talk to him that much, is because he talks about what mom used to do and how she has not changed and stuff. Like, he hasn't really hung out with her, but I guarantee you, like, because the way I see it, if she did change, she would hold herself accountable. She would come to us and apologize to us. Oh, am I about to run out of video? Damn, it looks like I only have 26 minutes to do this video. Oh no. Surely not. That's weird. It wasn't doing that earlier. Anyways, quickly. But anyway, so I had my mental breakdown in college after that. I think that was kind of like the stepping up to it. But also, I was in art history. I was about to take a test, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to pass this. I know I'm going to fail it. And usually I just be able to go in, fail it, and then carry on. But this time I could not do that. And I was like, if I go into this school or this classroom and try to take this test, I'm going to start bawling. Like, I'm just going to start crying. And I was just laying there in bed. I'm like, I cannot get out. So I emailed my teacher, and I told him about it, about what was just actually going on. I was just like, I'm just being honest right now. I cannot get out of bed. I cannot come in here. I'm going to fail this test. I just know it. And expecting him to just come back like, oh, well, I guess you're getting an F. He came back and was like, okay, no, it's fine. We'll reschedule it. And then he gave me like options to go get help. And so my now friend was there, and she's a licensed therapist. And so, but that's what her job was, just to help people get on accommodations. And so I remember going in there and telling her, like, all I'm here for is to talk about why I can't go to class, And then she started bringing up, well, how was your childhood? Like, do you have trauma, kind of thing. And I'm like, why are we talking about that? No. Like, because I was not going to talk about that. I was just going to be like, this is it, done. And she goes, well, not being able to heal from that causes you to do stuff now. And like, this sounds like you have some unhealed trauma that you haven't dealt with and stuff. And so she allowed me to go and talk to her a couple of times, for free, and talk about my childhood and some stuff. And she really woken up to basically what I've already talked about in video, so I'm not going to go into depth with that. But it was a stepping stone of me realizing that I need to heal from that shit. So then I got accommodations where I took my test in a quiet room, which, oh my god, I wish I'd done that way sooner, because I do have sensory overload, and I didn't know that. So like, all these things, neurodivergent, whatever you want to call it, really does affect you. And not knowing that you have that, and not knowing that, because like, I can't take tests very well. So being able to take tests separately and like in a quiet room, not have to worry about all these people, getting up and leaving, because like, you're in there by yourself. You're not, I mean, there might be someone else in your class in there, but they're in a different little cubby hole, So it's not like, oh my god, another person's gotten up and I'm still on this, one question, anxiety. um, so anyways, that kind of started that. And then next semester, I get through that semester and it really helped. And then so the next semester, I still have those accommodations and helping me. And then the pandemic happens. And that did not help. I was already on my last limb, and they were talking about, like, oh, you might not be able to graduate. You might still need to take this other class to even graduate. But then I was like, I'm quitting if you can't get me to graduate this semester. I was just blank up front. My advisor was who used to be Art Foundation's teacher. So she kind of knew me, and she knew that I had gone through some stuff because she was the one I had to tell about my cousin passing away. And so then that started that, and then so she was like, no, 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 we can figure something out. I took a lot of photography classes, but I didn't take this one class, and that's what they were trying to say. I need to take this one class, and I was like, dude, I don't have the energy to come back next semester and take this one freaking class. And so that photography teacher, who's kind of still a friend, someone who she was a mentor. I really she helped me through a lot. Helped me with my advisor to just put those extra photography classes that I didn't need, but they were there as this class, you know? And so I was able to graduate, and I put on my resume about minoring in horticultural and stuff. So the pandemic happens. We're having to sit, uh, we're having to do online classes, which did not really help me. I didn't have a laptop, so I had to borrow a laptop, but asking for a laptop was just, everything was so much that semester. And then I don't even pass my Roman art history class. They were doing this thing where, like, uh, we're going to give you a pass, even though it wasn't a pass because of the pandemic happening. So, I mean, I might have been able to pass it if that didn't happen. I don't really know. Don't really care. But just everything was a lot. And then I worked at the college, so I couldn't go to college, could go to work because it was shut down. So I wasn't making money. I wasn't able to get unemployment because I'm a student, and apparently, even though I didn't sign up for it until after I was graduated, they still, I didn't get nothing. So it's been a financial hellhole ever since May 2020. um, but uh, but it started me on the path of, you know what, I want to heal from this trauma. I want to figure myself out. I want to be my true self, which later on I come out as non-binary during the pandemic, um, which really helped because I've always struggled with being a male or female shit, and being non-binary like just helps me a lot. It helps me with my body dysphoria too and shit. But uh after a while, I had cannabis this whole time because my dad was getting paid, but then also was getting extra money because he was working more and stuff, because he wasn't working at the school because they were all shut down, so he didn't have to go to school except for like a little bit here and there, just make sure everything's, nice and clean. But so he was making quite a bit of money during that first big part, and then we were just getting those stimulus checks. So I had cannabis through most of it. If I did not have cannabis, I don't know where I would have gone because it was rough. And like I said, they were. I learned later about shadow work, and I realized that that's kind of what I was doing, even though I didn't know that's what it was called. But I was in a dark place for a while, and then after a while, I just kind of sat there and was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit here in this dark place. I want to figure my shit out. And then all of a sudden, if you've read my book, or if you want to go look at my book, I'm not going to go into detail with that because you can go over there and read or watch those. But my book was, a religion at first because I was like, religion is the problem, because I'm queer. I was going to make a queer religion basically. And then it was a queer cult. And then I was like, F all that. And then that was just my spiritual awakening. So it was like steps. And then in my book, I put those steps in. I kept adding and whatever. You can see it. But the pandemic, me being not being able to work, and it wasn't like I was trying. I was trying to find a job, but nothing was sticking. Or I would get a job, and I would, like I said in my last video, I would be the only queer person, and I was the butt of the joke, and I just did not want to be around those people, and like my energy is just not there. I can't fake it. I don't want to fake it till I make it. And so I need to find a job that I actually have a little bit of passion for. I actually like the people I'm working with, and I just haven't found that yet. And someday, hopefully, I will. I don't know. We'll see. But this video, I just wanted to talk more about like how that all started. It was that huge mental breakdown, the pandemic, and then a lot of weed. The weed is what helped me get through that, because I was able to open my mind up to all of it. I was able to process my emotions of when that stuff happened and how I couldn't process emotions. I wasn't allowed to. So basically, healing your inner child is such a huge thing. And that's another reason why I want to become president, is because if you just want to be on Social Security and work on your mental health, great. I know a lot of people out there who need that. I don't want you worrying about financial bullshit. I just want you to worry about your mental health and not work in it. Even if you want to work from home and do art, cool. You're getting paid for that now, governmentally. Like, I'm going to use this government's money everywhere and everywhere. Like, it's a huge thing. I want to talk more about that on that. This is not about that video, but I just wanted to talk about, like, that's where it got me to the point where I was wanting to write that book. And anytime I would think about not writing it, like I had self doubt, that was when my anxiety would come up, and I would just, it would constantly be in my back. Like, I couldn't think of anything else. But then whenever I was working on the book, I was calm, and I was like, nope, this is where I'm at. And so that's like part of healing your inner child, but also healing yourself now, present. Because I believe, like, we have our higher self and then our conditioned self. Our conditioned self is who we had to be because of outside shit. But higher self is actually there for you through thick and thin. And I'm more connected with that higher self. Like, used to, I had all these crazy ideas when I was stoned. But now, even when I'm sober, I have these crazy outrage. Like, people are always like, I'll say something like, "Are you stoned right now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sober, actually. I wish I was stoned." But, like, now I don't have the money for it. Like, every so often my dad will have a little bit, but for the most part, I don't have the money for it. But, uh, but healing your inner child is, I mean, I got a Nintendo Wii, and I got some games that I used to play. Some games are a little modern because I'm used to like the 64 and shit. Sometimes I kind of wish I just got the 64, but whatever. Doing those little things though, enjoying the things that actually make you happy, even though some people will look at it like, oh, that's weird, or that's a nerdy thing, or whatever. Forget all those people. Find the people that you actually relate to and they don't degrade you, because that is the part of healing, is finding your community that actually works with you and not works against you and doesn't belittle you and joke about you. Like, even hanging out with people who joke all the time and you're like mostly not laughing at their jokes because they're not really that funny, be okay with that, because it's not funny. You're not a joke. Um, that's just another form of gaslighting. Uh, I use that word quite a bit, and I think we should use it even more because there's so much gaslighting in everything. Like, even therapy, I think, needs to be changed up a little bit. Not saying all therapists are the same, but some therapy, I feel like they just want you to think it's all on you. But in reality, it's all on the outside. Those inner demons that they like to say that are making you do bad things or whatever, those are not inner demons. Those are outside demons that are from your teacher saying something negative to you or your parents saying something negative to you. Those are not your inner thoughts. And so sitting, with yourself, isolating, because I've isolated, I don't really hang out with a lot of people, but in order to do that, you you definitely be careful with it. Try to make sure you have some people that you could talk to about during that time. I did most of it alone. But you just make sure that you're okay to do it alone, because it is a lot and you do need help. And so I'm just saying, therapy does help, but it's still just a tool that's temporary. It's only gonna make you go so far. The rest of it is for you. You have to go through that change, which is okay. It's actually great, especially the more you love yourself, the more you trust yourself, the easier it gets. Not criticizing you, not self-doubting yourself because of so and so whatever. That's them. That's not you. And so that's why I think isolating, getting your thoughts, your actual thoughts, is what I had to go through, and being able to do that, I was high through most of it. I still want to try mushrooms at some point to see what really unlocks then. But I'm also kind of like, am I really ready for that? Um, but cannabis does help a whole lot. But you need to make sure that you're smoking what actually helps you, and um, not getting it from shady people. Make sure it's safe. And that if it's indica or sativa, because that matters too in hybrids. That all matters. Sorry, my dog started barking. Um, but that was just my little video for this. Was just telling you, like, that's how me having mental breakdown, hardcore mental breakdown, was what caused me to write my book. And if you want to learn more about my book, you can go look at those videos, because I explain a good. I read the book, but then I'm also kind of like adding little things here and there. Not too much because I want to get off subject, but like it's all there, so that helps with getting to that point, because these videos are from past up to that present, and then now it's my book, and that's what I want to try to connect with people, because I see people on there, you're doing the exact same thing that I've done, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm still just, no one knows me. But hopefully these videos start getting watched real soon, and people start connecting with me, because and if you get to connect with me and you're in my area and you're hiring, please hire me, because I'm like, I need to make some money. I just want to work part time somewhere, but um, just so I can have some of my spending money. But that was my college deal. The pandemic. It was just about spiritual growth. We are a spirit living in the human world. Um, and they've disconnected us with our spirit. I've connected with my spirit. And that's why they are not going to like me. There's going to be a lot of people who do not like me because of what I'm doing, but it's because they're abusers. I truly believe this, and this is how I'm going to end this. Everyone is abused at some point in their life, which sucks, whether it be personal or out in society. We're abused. We're told to look this way and that way. But what our choice is, like, we don't get to not go through that trauma or whatever, because we can't, because sometimes it just happens. But us choosing not to become an abuser is the key, because those people who are going around abusing people, they have unhealed trauma that they are not even dealing with, and that's why they continue to abuse people. And that's why the court system is going to be changed to where they have to go through therapy to talk about their childhood, to figure out where all this abuse is coming from, because it came from somewhere. You're not just born as an abusive person. You go through some shit in your life to become that abusive person. But we still have a choice not to become that. Because I could have easily became an abusive person, but because I didn't feel right being like that, I never went down that path. And so it is a choice. That part is a choice. So don't ever, if you're hanging out with people who choose to continue to abuse you, cut them off, because they have their own shit to heal, but they have to choose to do it. We are not here to fix them. We're here to give them resources to help fix themselves, but they have to take that leap and change, and it is about just taking that leap and changing and going, okay, this is what I'm determined to do. I need to apologize for what I've done, and I need to hold myself accountable. And if they're not doing that, then that means they just rather still abuse. Being an abusive person is the easy way out. It's the lamest way out. So just remember that if you're around abusive people, get rid of them. Love yourself, trust yourself, find your peace, because once you find your peace, you have the energy to help others to find that peace as well. And that's what I want to work towards. Um, whether I'm a president or not, I still want to work towards that. I want us to help each other as a community, because the government is like the small percentage of bullshit. We are a huge ass community. Nonprofits have always come in and helped each other out. So remember that we are the people, and we are the majority, and we can change how the government is run. Um, and that's why I want. That's why I wrote my book. I want people to wake up to that and help me with it. Even if I'm just one of the people helping, I don't care what my part is. I just want to be working towards that. Um, so yeah. that's my intro to my book. So go watch my video of my book, and then you'll continue finding out who I am, or seeing who I am. Um, Other than that, I'm going to do one more video, but that'll be next. So peace within. See you later.